Game, I thought, they probably outplayed us in the first half. We were a little bit, I don't know, we just didn't make anything, but we guarded well enough. And the second half, I felt like we controlled the whole second half. So I would have been really ticked off if we didn't win the game. We made some boneheaded plays at the end, but you gotta love Jimmy. He'll make some plays and he'll do some boneheaded things, but he's a winner. And then we didn't make any plays in the last 4 minutes, which really hurt us. We haven't been in a lot of those games really. So, but we showed, like you look at our team from the beginning of the year to now, like we're pretty good defensively now. Like they struggled with our pressure, and there wasn't much full court pressure as far as trapping in that. We were just good in the half court. Like we disrupted them. Which I don't know if he's ever had a team that made 25 turnovers in a game. So they were fortunate to be there at the end, and we were fortunate to win by a split second.
Keith, throughout the year, you've stressed the importance of teams in the A10 being able to improve down the stretch, and that being kind of a difference maker, a separator in a really tight league. Just being able to win games like this, you've won 3 straight, and just in general with your squad, do you feel like you guys are peaking at the right time, that you are seeing an upward trajectory in terms of just steady improvement throughout the year?
We've improved the last 3 games for sure. But those numbers, like if you look at the defensive numbers, it's clear we've become a good defensive team. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. Like I think we're in the top 2 or 3 in the league defensively. Now this is kind of a weird dynamic because they were 22 of 44. But they turned it over 25 times, so it's a hard judge. I'll take the 25 turnovers. I think that's probably more important than 22 for 44. But we've improved. I feel like we've improved on just playing together better. And then we've improved on understanding what we're good at, who's good at what. Like we spread out and Jimmy drove it. And they had trouble keeping him in front. Now, we didn't make a lot of plays. We missed some open ones, but he's a hard matchup. And then we also have the ability to score inside as well. So, and then we have depth, So Tevin didn't really score much tonight, but the other guy did, Kareem. So what else can you say about Kareem? He just keeps bringing it every night. Doesn't let plays bother him. He made 2 horrible passes and then just rallied himself. So we're capable of beating anybody in this league. And we're capable of losing to anybody in this league, but we've improved.
Keith, Kareem said earlier that it wasn't just appreciating the defense, but they like playing the defensive side of the ball. Now, how much maybe are you noticing that, and how much maybe is that a reason for the upward trajectory of the defense?
Well, I don't think there's any question that we would have lost that game early in the year because we weren't very good offensively, and we couldn't have been sound enough defensively to win the game. But we're pretty good defensively now, and I think part of it is Trey Williams guarding the post. I think that's probably the biggest thing that's really helped us. You can come up here, Coach, bring that chair. And then Reese has done a good job on the perimeter, which we didn't know if he could do it or not. But Trey's so damn strong. Like it was like mud wrestling between those 2 tonight.
Coach, you told Ray Goss before the game that you guys needed to score 70 to win. You ended up only giving up 54. What was the biggest thing defensively that helped you guys to hold them to such a low total?
I didn't tell Ray we needed 70 to win. What I told him was they haven't won a game when somebody scored 70 on them. So if you check his statistics, if you look at the game notes, you guys get those game notes from St. Bonaventure, when they give up 65 or less, they generally win, right? So we try to get them out of their comfort zone and get the game going a little bit fast, and we never really did that, but we did turn them over enough that we could win that low-scoring game. It's a good point, though.
Coach, in this game, Daryl Banks had 15 points in all 40 minutes, but had 5 turnovers and 0 assists. And it's sort of been a theme of you guys past couple of weeks where the team's leading ball handler hasn't been racking up assists at all. And considering next 2 games coming up against 2 elite passers, has that sort of been a key strength of your perimeter defense led by Kareem and Clark?
I'm glad you brought that up. So that's probably the other change that we've made is our ball screen defense has really gotten better. We've made some subtle little changes on that has really helped us. The first game, Luke killed us. Banks made shots, but Luke killed us. He got penetration. We did a good job of keeping him out of the paint tonight. And, just a few little changes that we made has helped that. And our guys have bought in. That's the biggest thing, is they bought in to really try to be a good defensive team. So we got to continue to cut the head off the snake, and that's really what we've done, is we've taken those best passers and try to get them in uncomfortable situations. And we did, like, you look at Bishop and Adams, after we left them, I think they had like 65 the next night, right? So we did an unbelievable job. And again, we have a lot of guys that can guard. Now, I thought we did a below average job on Flowers, keeping him off his right hand tonight, and that's why he scored. I think if we would have kept him off his right hand, he wouldn't have scored as much. And those are things we just have to keep working on.
Keith, how confident were you the call was going to go your way at the end?
I thought it was, from my vantage point, I thought it was late, but they counted it. So if I had to coach in overtime after that, I might have sat down and let Drew coach. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, that would have been that wouldn't have been pretty. It was close though. We deserved to win though. In my mind, I felt like we deserved to win. They were fortunate to be there at the end because of some plays we made. But we controlled we pretty much led the whole second half. But we've lost a lot of close games to Bonaventure in my time here. Not the last 2 years where they were clearly better than us, but the first couple of years and then in the middle, we've had a hard time with them. They've made every play when it mattered. Anything for Drew? He's in charge of the defense, by the way.
Yeah, Coach Drew, just from a coaching staff's perspective, in the first game, say Bonaventure sort of ran you guys out the gym in the first half. Early in this game, you guys were sort of struggling offensively, couldn't things going. Was there any sense of panic among you guys on the sidelines that, okay, this could be another case of that, or were there no concerns?
You hold no punches, right? No, you can't hang your head on the past, what happened in that past game. We long moved on from that game, right? It's a lesson that we knew we had to perform better in the first half, but in this game, we felt like we were right in the game. We didn't perform as well as we would like offensively, but we continued to get defensive stops. We turned them over at a high rate, and it's a ball game. We understood that we were going to have to continue to get stops defensively until our offense comes along, and I thought we did that for the duration of the game.
Drew, you just said you moved on from the last Bonaventure game, but you had to have watched that film at least once or twice or maybe a couple more times. How maybe do you show the guys this film and the last film and just show them where they are defensively and where they can go?
That's a good point. We had a pretty long film session after the first St. Bonaventure game on what we needed to do better. But we continued just after every game, we don't want to settle, right? We want to continue to keep raising the bar. A good defensive performance tonight, yes, but we know we got to get prepared and ready again on Wednesday because we have another good opponent coming at us. So that effort tonight means nothing. We have to duplicate it or even be better. So it is going to be looking at the film. Yes, we'll highlight some of the things we did good, but there's also some things we got to work on. Like you said, we allowed Flowers to get to his right hand at times. We allowed some easy dribble penetrations early in the first half that we don't want to give up.
And let me add to this. So with about 12 or 13 minutes left in the game at St. Bonaventure, we were down 18. I don't know if you guys remember that. We were down 18 with 12 or 13 minutes, and we had a legitimate chance to win that game. Like, we were down 5 or 6 with the ball on a loose ball, and we turned it over at about the 6-minute mark. So while I didn't really love our start, I'm thinking to myself, this is ridiculous, you know, that we're doing it again. I never felt like they were going to beat us. I felt like we were going to be right in the game the whole way, you know. And now we did a good job of closing the gap at halftime. And then we came out to start the second half. I think that's probably the biggest thing that has improved with us as well, is we've been playing a little bit better defense in the second half. For most of the year, we've been not as good defensively in the second half. We did a good job of communicating. We had Doc Carr in here, and we really worked hard on our communication. We felt like that was probably our biggest weakness as a team, because we were worried about the wrong stuff. And I feel like we've kind of turned the script a little bit on that.
For either of you, Tevin did a pretty good job converting that foul at the end of the game pretty cleanly. Is that something where you guys instructed everybody on the where and when of how to commit that, or was that an instinct play from him?
I'll answer it first. So, the debate right there is whether we should call timeout and explain everything that we're going to talk about, right? Or do we? See, I thought he was going to make both free throws, so I'm an optimist, right? But I screamed at him foul, and he's been in a lot of games. So we were fortunate enough to have a guy that's been in a lot of games that has a good brain, you know, to make that play. And we haven't practiced it a great deal, but it was the right play in my mind. And I've gone years where I didn't foul, but I felt like that was time. And then we didn't rebound it very well. They shot it good too. It was a good shot that he made, but we have to rebound that ball. I don't care if we gotta come up with that one. You can answer.
I think you answered.
All right. You can have the next one.
Speaking of turnarounds, St. Joe's won today against George Washington, now above 500 in league play. Looks remarkably different from the last time they played you guys. Is this team sort of playing towards its potential and legitimately can be a dark horse in this league? Do you expect a much tougher fight against them this Wednesday?
We knew they were good weeks ago. He reiterated the point over and over before we were going into that game, how dangerous a team they were. So seeing them perform the way they are now is something that we've been aware of. We thought potentially they could do this. Once again, we can't think about everything we did great in that last game and think that effort is going to be good enough. We have to prepare ourselves and get ready to play a hot team coming in here.
So, the first game we played unbelievably well offensively. Like we shot it like there was no tomorrow. And then Quachik fouled and got a technical early, so he didn't really play. And he's a good player. When he's playing with Obina and those three guards, and now the other thing is Lynn Greer wasn't any good early, and now he's good, right? He couldn't make a shot early in the year. Now I don't know what he had today, but he's been killing it, right? And the other thing that has helped them is they've improved defensively. They weren't any good defensively, and they've really improved defensively. So they're one of the better offensive teams in this league because they play like an NBA team because he's got the NBA background. So they spread you out, and if you don't guard the three line, and then they drive you, and then Obina's a monster inside, you know. Now, past those guys, they got a couple good guards and then maybe one big guy, but they don't have a lot. So that's where we have advantages. Even like tonight, we have more guys. So maybe we can tire them, but if we don't guard, they'll light you up like a Christmas tree.
He had a 22-8-6.
And he's killing it. Like he was before our game, he was 3 for 30, I think, from three. And then he made 5 one game. But as Drew said, his daddy made every damn shot, so at some point, some of that genetics is going to rub off, you know. So what's he, the all-time leading scorer at Temple, I think, or was at one point. So that's the big difference with them now. So you figure you got Lynn Greer, you got Quachik, Obina, and then you got Cam Brown, who makes everything, and you got Reynolds, who's arguably one of the best scorers in the league. So it's a challenge, but I think we'll be up to it. I think our guys know, You know, they know that we have to compete in order to get what we want. We might be like the ugly duckling, right? We got to do it the hard way. And I think that's what this team's really embraced now. And again, we have unbelievable leadership. Like, I give our guys like not just Kareem, but all of them. They care about winning. It's been a little slow, but they really do care. Good?
Yep.